Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Venkatesh. I am a DevOps engineer. This is DevOps Pro Junction YouTube channel. In this video, we are going to see about one of the concept in Kubernetes related to networking. Before that, I am making lot of videos related to cloud and DevOps. Also, I'm making related to videos on Kubernetes. I believe these videos are useful. If you find these videos are useful, give thumbs up, subscribe my channel, follow for the more videos. Let's dive into today topic. So I already made a video about the noteport, how to expose in your web page. If you not watched that video, you can watch it as well. I will give you in the description. So today we are going to see about the topic on cluster IP. So networking can be happen via these three types. One is cluster IP, node port, and load balancer. We are going to see about the cluster IP. What is cluster IP? So cluster IP is the default service which is in your Kubernetes. This service typically allows you to communicate between your different components you are inside in your cluster only. And this cluster IP can be communicate only on internally, not in the outside. And it also helpful to the automatic load balancing for your services. And this is the default service which is available in your cluster. There is no other services which get defaultly create other than this cluster IP. And what are the use cases when it comes to the cluster IP? So the cluster IP will helpful for you to communicate between your different microservices in your cluster. And for example, you have the e-commerce application. These front-end microservices want to communicate with your back-end applications, which is via the API. For that, you can use your cluster IP. So this is one of the example. And when it comes to the other use cases, like a database can be accessible with the cluster. You can add the cluster IP with the microservices with the database. So this a cluster IP will act as an intermediate. So by that way also it will going to communicate. So like for as well with the different pods in the different namespaces. So, how this cluster IP will work? This cluster IP can be accessed only with your internally, not in the externally. To access with the external, you have to go with something called a node port and load balancing. So, these are all about the cluster IP. And I will also show you something with a paint diagram, which is going to helpful to understand about this cluster IP. So consider this. This is your one of your pod which is running on your cluster, and here is your another pod is running in your cluster. This pod having the containers which is on HTTPD service, so which is currently running in your cluster. And here we have the another container which is having the nginx image, which is currently running on your container. This is my pod 1, and another one which is pod 2. So I'm going to show you how these two pods will communicate using the cluster IP. So for that, we need to understand that pods are ephemeral. So what is ephemeral? Ephemeral in the sense, so pods whenever get pods get restart, the IP is going to get changed, which means whenever if it is pod getting crash, or in case of getting into other states, it may be it need to get recreated automatically by the replica set, deployment, stateful set, whatever. So in the situation, pod IP will get changed automatically. So how one pod to another pod communication will happen here? If you see that if this pod get IP is changed, then how this HTTPD pod know about this pod? So for in the situation, we need a concept called cluster IP. So what is basically here in the cluster IP? So cluster IP, it is nothing but it is something called static IP, which is you can create it. And also Kubernetes will create this default service by by the default itself. and this will contain some IP address. For example, 192.25.67 and 99. So this can be your IP address of your cluster IP. Here also you will get some IP address for your pod as well. So for the this cluster IP can be accessed by the way with your internal purpose only. You can't access this cluster IP with somewhere in external. If you go for some external to access with your cluster, you have to go with this node port or the load balancer, ingress controller, whatever you can use it in your architecture. So here, how these two pods will know? So for that, we have a concept called a selector label. So which is nothing but selector and label both are called as a tags. So when you place it in your pod, it is called as a label. So here you will get a label, and here you will get one label. And when it goes to the this cluster IP, you will get one selector, and here also you will get on selector. So these two will get mapped here. These two will get mapped, and these two will get mapped, which means you have to create in your configuration. When you create a cluster IP, you have to mention both selector. Also, when you create these two parts, for the each part you have to mention the labels. What is label here? It is something called key value. So for example, I'm creating called app.httpd. So this is one of my label. And here I'm going to create the label called app.ng apps colon nginx. And same this label, I have to paste it here in this configuration. I'm going to keep it here for this label as well. Same like I have to keep this label in my cluster IP as well. So that these two will get mapped. Here you can see that this is having the selector of app nginx, same like this label having the app nginx in this part. So these two will get mapped, these two will get mapped. When you try to ping from here this httpd part to nginx part, by that way it will get communicate. So like this, via this selector label using the cluster IP, this can be happen. Same like you can create the another pods, or if you have some database, here you can also create one more pod. So this pod can be communicate with your another cluster IP. So here also you can connect with this cluster IP. Else you can create a cluster IP, one more cluster IP here. This cluster IP can be mapped with your another cluster IP. So these two may get mapped, or you can connect with this cluster IP to your another pods. And this cluster IP can be connected with your node port here, and this cluster IP will have the pod here. So these two will get mapped. So like this the traffic will go. So here you have the node port, and here next you will have the cluster IP, and here you will have the pod. So this traffic will comes like this. So like this the cluster IP will work. I believe you understand that how the cluster IP will work. So I will make the in the practical video in my upcoming next video. I believe this video is helpful. If you find this videos helpful, give thumbs up, subscribe my channel, and follow for the more videos. And thanks for watching this video.